So, hello everyone. Hoping everyone is having a great time here. And now I will talk with you about how different ways to customize your controls on the .NET MAUI. So, let's move back a little bit on the Xamarin era, where you have a couple ways of customize your controls. And like when you need to access the platform specific code, you have two specific ways to customize your controls in the Xamarin Forms framework. It is a custom handler or a effect. And that is because the Xamarin Forms was not built on top of the multi-target architecture. And actually at that time, we don't have the multi-target architecture. Now the .NET MAUI is built on top of that, and you can take advantage of that. So you have various ways to access the platform-specific code and APIs to customize our controls. And here I will show you a couple of ways of how you can do that, and also some dragons in the path that you may find. So the first way that I want to show you how to customize your controls is creating a custom control, because this one is like a very familiar way of doing that. So the simple here is to create an image control or a feature that allow us to tint an image icon. So you can have an icon there with any color, and you can change the color of that icon. It's not the background color, it's the color of the icon. So here I have my bindable property, so nothing new here, and I have my own property changed delegate that will be triggered when I change the property value here. And just a reminder that on the Xamarin Form side, the color is a struct, and so it cannot be null, but on the .NET MAUI world, the color is a class, so this can be null. So we will take advantage of that here to make use the null value as a value that you can use to trigger our feature. So I already started the code here, and we have this control one that I am casting to the image tint color, and I am grabbing the tint color property value. So this is like the Xamarin Forms era code. And now let's do the .NET MAUI code. So the first thing that I will do is to check if my tint color is not null. If it is not null, I will do something. If it's not null, I will do another thing. So the last talker, I believe it was George, they showed us how we can take advantage of the platform specific code. And that was great because I don't need to explain here, but unless you have doubts. So I am have my eyes here on the chat, so feel free to ask questions, okay? So here I need to access the platforms layer, and in this case I will do for both Android and iOS, but I will just run on Android environment. So let's do the if statement here, iOS, and oops, let's the end if here. So if I am on Android and select here Android, I will call my image extension methods, and I will call the apply color here. And the apply color asks me to add the image view, the Android widget image view, and the color property. Not sure if the zoom is being streamed, but yeah, I'm using the zoom it here to make easier to read. So we can have access to the platform view directly on our shared layer. So I just need to do control.handler.platform view, and here I will pass the tint color. And this is complaining to me because, as you can see here, at this point, the platform view is an object. So I needed to cast it to the Android type here. So let's do that. And android.widget.imageview. And oh, I missed one parenthesis here. And if it is iOS, let's switch here to iOS by another target framework. I will have the same image extension here with the same signature. And now it's asking to me the UI image view. This is the iOS platform specific view for image control. So we will do basically the same thing as we did before. So handler.platform view and tint color. And here I will also need to cast it because it is an object. And now the compiler is happy. I will copy and paste this code here because when the value is null, I want to clear the color. So I will clear the tint color, and this method just asks me the platform specific view. And let's move this to the Android one and call the clear color and delete the tint color, and we should be good to go. So pretty easy. Directly on the shared layer, I can access the platform specific code, so I don't need to create a custom handler or anything more like that. And let's build this and run. And while it is loading, let's see how the page looks like. So the XAML looks like the any Xamarin Forms control, right? I have my page here, and I am using my image tint color control, and my tint color is orange. So let's run this, and well, nothing happens. It's not orange. So something went wrong. Let's see what went wrong. Let's see if I can catch any exception here. And let's play this again, and whoopsie, there is a null reference exception right here. Let's inspect this. So, my handler is null. So this is the first dragon that you may find in your path, okay? Let's fix this, and during the build time, I will explain why this happens. So the handler is null, so I need to check on my control if the handler is null and do something about it. So we have on the control layer an event called the handler changed that was showed by our last presenter. I believe it's George. If it's not George, please someone correct me. It will be a shame on me if I spell his name wrong. So I will subscribe to this event here, and I will just say, okay, when the handler changes at the first time, when that happens, because the handler is not null anymore. So I will call my onTint color changed again, passing the same parameter values here to be executed again. And here I will do return. So be aware that I'm not caring about unsubscribe the event. This is not a good practice because this could lead in memory leaks. We will see this dragon again, and I will show you a better way of handle this case here, okay? So during this build, let me explain why this happens. The Xamarin Forms, on the Xamarin Forms era, we have the shared layer and the handler, the platform specific layer separately because we don't have the multi-target approach. And the life cycle of the controls during the instantiation is first we create the control, like an entry, then we load all the bindable properties of that control, in this case the entry, then you create and instantiate the entry handler and instantiate the control property that is the platform specific view for that specific control, in that case the entry. And this may sound like a bug on .NET MAUI, but it is a feature. And the team choose to keep this behavior on the .NET MAUI side to avoid breaking changes when people are moving their applications from Xamarin Forms to .NET MAUI. So, if you are using the compatibility layer or if you are just moving your application from Forms to MAUI, you will have the same lifecycle behavior, okay? So let's run this again. And as you can see now, we have an orange icon here. Sweet, right? And so this is not a bug, this is a feature. And I'm not sure if you understand very well the explanation. If not, please put that on the chat and I will come this later because we will see this dragon again, okay? So just remember to, if you are using a custom control and a bindable property, just to check if the handler is null. Great, we have short time, so let's move to, let's commit this one, finish it, and later I will share the link to the repo. So the next one will be using the mapper. So the mapper is a new structure created with handlers where we don't need to use a property change delegate, but you can use a mapper instead. And we will do this right now. So I have here a static class that is a tint color mapper, and I have bindable properties here, but right now, my bindable property is an attached bindable property. So I needed to create those two methods here, the get and the setter for that bindable property. And my default value here will be null. And excuse me, during here, I needed to apply a mapper. So I needed to add a mapper. So one of the methods is to add that where I can create a new mapper and with a new property and add that new property to that mapper. Not only the property, like the key, but also an action that represents that key. So using this add here, I will create this tint color property here, and I have this action where I accept a handler and a view. And I just have this new check here to show you that you don't need to do this, because when this mapper executes, the handler and the platform view will not be null. But just put here because you don't need to trust me right now. So yeah, I should copy that code to win time. Oh, so we will do the same thing that we did before for our on our bindable properties on the crystal control. So if now I need to get the tint color here, all right? So tint color, and I say get tint color, I will pass my view. But here, as you can see, is complaining because my view here is the interface, so it's like the abstract part, so I need to cast it to my concrete type. In this case, it's the image control. And once I have the tint color, I can check if it is not null, and otherwise I will do another thing. So the logic here will be the same. I will call my image extension and apply the color, and I just need to pass the handler dot the platform view here. And the good thing here is the platform view is not an object. It's actually my image view type. So this is a good way. It's a good way to do this, because you don't need to care about casting those values. And for iOS, I can do the same. So as you can see here, I don't need this if-else statement, because the color will be the same, and when I change the context, like that will work as expected. But I will leave this way just, for didactic reasons. But probably you don't need that. Okay. And as I mentioned, it will be the same. You don't need this F here. And let's switch back here to the Android part. And let's build this and see how the page is constructed. So now, instead of using a custom control, I am using the image control itself. And here I am using the attached property to select what should be the color of my icon there. So pretty straightforward as well. And let's give some time to my computer to build this. Okay, I always have this exception. Don't care about that. We should open a bug on the .NET MAUI repo. Today, see what's going on there. So now I have my mapper as well. So let's move to this class. We should not touch this return button here, because this is never null. And woohoo, this is great, right? I have my orange color here. As you can see, I am amazing designer, so I choose very well the colors, right? So yeah, sorry for that. And okay, let's talk about this little bit. One thing that I missed is that we need to call this method at some point on our application. Otherwise, this does not work, because we need to register. So I choose to apply that mapper, to add that mapper when I navigate to the page that we will use this feature. But you can do this in any place on your application. But this has a little downside, because as you can see, we are using the image handler. So any image on our application or any control will call this method. And if you have one method, it's fine, but if you have a lot of custom mappers there that could lead in some performance in hits, because this code will be executed for every control that uses the image handler. So let me prove that for you. So I will not use my origin here. Let me pick that name. Let's change this to another color like red, and let's wrap this puppy here to on a scroll view, because I don't know how large that will be. And you will see that we will hit, let's put the breakpoint a little down. You will hit this twice because we have two image controls. So the first one, and let's move here. So here my tint color is not null, is the original one. And let's hit again. And now my tint color is null. So this will run for every control that uses the handler. Oh, I will expand there, but yeah, some bug on the subsystem front, right? So be aware of that, right? But don't need to panic right now if you have doubts. This is somehow influencing your performance. Measure first and see if you need to do some change. But be aware of that, right? And okay. We have passed 60 minutes. Let's look at the chat. Okay, no issues. So the next one is the behavior. All right. So we can also customize controls using behavior. On the Xamarin Forms era, we used behavior when we want to customize a control or add some feature to that control without accessing the platform-specific APIs. And the similar API that you can use to the behavior when you need to access the platform-specific API is the effect API. So right now on this on the .NET MAUI era, where we use the multi-target approach, we don't need the effects anymore, and it's because of that we on the community toolkit we choose to drop some APIs, all right? So we drop all the effects APIs in order to use behaviors. And this is because the .NET MAUI team is also see that, and here have some references about some discussions on the .NET MAUI side saying that, okay, we don't need the effect anymore, maybe it's good to deprecate it. But as George showed on the talk before, you still can use the effects, that is still work, but probably we will not have any improvements on that API side. So the good approach is to move away from effects, all right? So one way to do that is using behavior. So here I'm using the behavior of the image, and I am using a bindable property that you already know. And I have here some initialized flags to make sure that I will run the base method just once, not twice. And on attached to and on the attached from, I am clean and or applying the tint color. Also, my platform view here is an object. So like when you did with the custom control, we needed to cast it to use a specific control on the platform side. And let's run this guy here and see what it does. Any questions? I think I'm fast and furious here because I still have more or less 20 minutes and I almost at the end. So I hope that everyone have questions and doubts that we can use this time to discuss.
Not so far. So you are explaining it well, quickly, but well, because we don't have questions.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, well, I'm doing very well. I'm doing terrible.
No, it's not that.
Okay, so now let's see using behaviors, and well, the app crashed. So let's run again and be already. Oh, I detached this window here. Okay. So every time that your application crashes, go to the configuration exceptions. It's Portuguese, sorry for that, and check the second check mark here. So when the exception happens, an unhandled exception, the Visual Studio will put a breakpoint exactly when the exception throws. So yeah, we have this dragon here again, a new reference exception. Again, the behaviors on the life cycle of the control in the Xamarin Forms era is created together with that life cycle that I mentioned. So we have the shared control created, the bindable properties are initialized, and also the behaviors are initialized. And after that, the handler and the platform and all the platform specific shenanigans is initialized. So I mentioned that we will see this dragon again, and yes, we need to check for null here, attach the handler changed event, and call the unattached method again to run our code. So here I am handling this better than I did on the delegate property change delegate side. So now I have a local function here where I can unsubscribe my event to avoid any kind of memory leaks. And here I am set the in is initialized to true because when I run this guy again, I don't want to run the unattached base method again. So with that, we should be good to go. And okay, this one is false positive one using behavior, and ta-da. Yeah, now I choose a better background, right? This black one. So yeah, my tint color is orange, and the code for this you will see is nothing changed from the for the Xamarin Forms side. So I just attached behavior here, put the behavior, and select the tint color. And as I mentioned before, and I said, okay, Pedro, you said us to move away from effect and use another thing, but behavior is not that good. The image tint color control also needed to check for null here, if you remember well. And the mapper sometimes is not good because this will be called by any control that uses that image handler. Example, so if I add this to the view handler, for example, any control that inherits from the view, that's I believe all the controls, will call this delegate here. So yeah, we have some downsides here. So what we can do, well, because of that, I came a proposal on the .NET MAUI with the new API to use behaviors to change the behaviors. And I tried to just use the actual behavior that we have right now. So this implementation here, but the team said, yeah, that will be a break change because we'll change how the behaviors are initialized, in terms of the life cycle, and that could lead some problems on our customers. So yeah, we not do that. So I bring this implementation here that I almost I almost copy and paste from the handler implementation that is called the platform behavior, and where you use the same behavior API on your Xamarin or your C# while you are during the UI development phase, but this will guarantee that you are safe to access the platform specific code. So this is the API design, some discussions going on. It's already implemented. I implemented this, and let's do this here. So let's create something here. Oh yeah, I forgot to show another dragon. That is something that I just discovered because I designed this API here. So that API. So when we have a behavior, we will run the unattached to, but when we leave the page, as you can see, the deattached from is not called automatically. You need to call that by yourself. And yeah, I never saw that because shame on me, I don't read documentation. So and so I on my head this should be called, and I never ever clean my behaviors. So yeah, if you also don't do that and you have some event handler subscription on attached, it will be already that you could lead in some breaking some memory leaks. All right. So let's transform this guy here in our platform behavior. That is the new API that is added on the .NET MAUI. So first of all, I will create another class here because I don't like too much if statements. And let me fix the namespace here. This also will be public partial, and I will inherit it from platform behavior. And platform behavior has two overloads here. I can just pass my shared view, like image, as we do with behaviors, and also I can pass the platform view here if I know which one will be, or if will be just one platform viewer, right? So in this case of the Android will be the image view control. So let me bring the use statement here. And as you can see here, I just have Android here, and this is, I can use these rules because I added those here on my CS project. If you want to use this pattern, remember to add those rules on your CS project as well. So, okay, now I have my platform behavior, and I have just to override on the attached to, and I don't need to call the base because I don't need anything in there, okay? So you can delete this line on base. So I will be the image extension dot apply colors, and I need to pass my platform view and my tint color. Reminder, the tint color, if I press F12, is on this class here, this shared class here. And I don't need this initialize as well. So, and for my on the attached, so to override on the attached from, I can also delete this line here because I'm doing nothing there. I will call the clear one and pass the platform view. So one line of code, and I am good to go. Let's make sure that I'm copying the right thing here. Create now for the iOS side. So, okay, iOS, and this should work for iOS and Mac Catalyst. Great. And I will do public partial here. Thank you, Visual Studio. And here I need to inherit from the platform behavior, image and UI, image view, I believe. Yes. And looks how beautiful is this. It's just copy and paste, and I am good to go. Oh, almost good to go. I need to fix the override here. Just out of curiosity, if I don't specify the type, the unattached method will be a UI view. It will be the most basic view for that platform specific. So, for example, on iOS side, the tint color you can use on the buttons, image buttons, and the image contour. So we can take advantage of this view, and you do the just the normal one, and then check which type UI view you are working on. So let's try to build this, and let's see what's happened. It worked, and as just a reminder, I did not change my XAML, so I am still using the behaviors one. Let's put a breakpoint here to make sure that I am calling the correct thing, and boom, image, apply color, and that worked. So I don't need to care about the handler is no. I have a strongly typed namings and types there, so it's safer. I receiving the shared control and the platform specific control on my method, so they are in the valid state, so it's way safer. So this is the way to go. And let's just move this guy a little bit here, and let's put the Windows one here, just because I want to show something to you. This is still builds, but maybe yesterday's was not building. I don't know why. Visual Studio now is happy. But if you have like some platform code that you don't want to customize, what you can do here, and to avoid any kind of debug issues if you have, is saying, okay, if this is Windows, I want to inherit from the platform behavior, and I will pass just the shared control, and I will do nothing. So this guy here will be happy, and probably still compiles, right? Yep, this is still compiles. And you remember that on the normal behaviors from the Xamarin Forms era, when you leave the page, the on the attached method is not called. With the platform behavior, we call the on the attached method automatically. So I believe this is a great approach because the dev don't need to care about this. So when the page is popped, we assume that we want to don't attach that behavior anymore, and we'll clean this like we did with effects. And effects you need also to register them here on the builder side. With the platform behaviors, you don't need to care about that. It's just plug and play, go and be happy with that. So I hope that you all use this. platform behavior. You also can use the platform behavior instead of the behavior if you want just to customize the shared control and make sure that the only attached method will be carried. And you don't need to care about this feature on the tinting color to implement yourself, because this will be on the version 1.1 of the community toolkit. Okay, so yeah, I believe this is pretty much it, the way that I know how to customize controls on the .NET MAUI. Let me know if you guys on the chat have any questions, if you want to comment something.